Is this thing on? Testing. Max, are you a dog? This is a no-dog zone. You can't be here. I'm just kidding. This is a pro-dog zone. In fact, this is a no-human zone in the Above It All program show today. Today is May, actually. So today is May, and we got a show today. Today is May. I'm here to do a show for May, because I do shows on May, which is today. And so, welcome to the program, everybody. If you're joining me today, then hello. And if you're not joining me, then go fuck yourself. So, I don't know if you can see Max in the background. I'm not sure. He's kind of dogging it up right now. Max, come over here. They want to see you. Look at this dog. Can you see this shit? Max, you want to come up here? Check this out. Max, you want to come on the couch? Trying to get this dog on the couch here. Anyway, this is a project I'm working on. This is the Above It All show. Welcome everybody. It is currently May here in Above It All Studios. Max, you want to come on the couch? Come on the couch here. Come on. Ah. All right. It is May here in Max the Dog Studios, doing an Above It All show today. That hopefully everybody is going to. You ever see those videos where like people like talk somewhere else, like, you know, like the camera shifts and it's like, hello everybody, welcome to the Above It All show. And today we are going to be, you know, you ever see those like fucking people do that? I don't know, it's like a documentary thing. I don't know why people think that that's even acceptable, let alone a superior way of doing anything. But anyway, doing a show here today. I'm trying to get Max on the couch. Doing a show here today. Today is May, actually. Today is May. And in May, we talk about... what should I start off the show with? Let's start off the show with Biden. Let's talk about Joe Biden. So, you know, I don't like Joe Biden. I don't think this is... let me get my biases on the table. You might not know this. I don't like Joe Biden. Not a fan currently. Nor really ever have been a fan of him, to be honest with you. But Joe Biden had a diverse coalition of support in the 2020 election. A diverse coalition. Those are the words we're going to be using here. So when you think of a diverse coalition of support for Joe Biden, what are you thinking about? Diverse coalition. What does that mean? Well, it means young people. It means black people. It means the gays. And it means old people. Diverse coalition, right? So, here we have an article from the Associated Press, so you know it's good. Biden's diverse coalition of support risks fraying in 2024. So when you read this, like this could, like it's, you read this headline and it's like, yeah, diverse coalition. I'm a young person, you know, I feel like Joe Biden has let me down. He campaigned on decriminalizing marijuana. He could do so anytime. It's all executive authority. He's refused to do so. He campaigned on criminal justice reform and reforming the police. Instead, he just gave them triple the money. Does anyone remember that shit? Joe Biden yelling at black people saying, don't worry, I'm going to do what you voted me for. And then he gives the police more money. No reform, zero reform, more money. It's crazy shit. But anyway, so is the diverse coalition fraying because Joe Biden is shifting to the right and going back on his word with every progressive or even remotely left-wing promise that he ever had? Well, actually, the answer is no. Former Senator Joseph Lieberman, the Connecticut Democrat turned independent, long known for... That's right, we're starting this off with Joe Lieberman. I know. Centrist views voted for Joe Biden in 2020, but as Biden's re-election campaign begins, Lieberman is preparing to recruit a third-party candidate capable of defeating the Democratic president. This motherfucker, Joe Lieberman, is gonna go all in on the People's fucking Party, man. This guy, I didn't even know that. Okay. Quote, centrists and moderates feel that he's given more from the left than they hope, Lieberman, a leader of the group. No labels, said of Biden in an interview. He hasn't been able to be the unifier that he promised to be. That's right. The same guy who said he would, stop all fossil fuels by 2050 and then signed an oil contract that's going to last longer than 2050. He's actually in the pocket of big left. The guy who ran on reforming the police a little bit, really, what did that mean? He advocated to ban chokeholds and other kind of stuff. That's what the left, what did the left want? Defunding the police, right? What did Biden want? Chokehold ban. What did we get? No chokehold ban, 3x funding for the police departments. But don't worry, everybody. He's in the pocket of big left. Max, what are you doing? This dog is being a dog right now. Biden's political challenges are not confined to voters in the middle. In the days since he formally launched his 2024 campaign, key members of the sprawling political coalition that lifted him over, former president blah, 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 that underscores the test confronting Biden as he aims to motivate the coalition of African Americans, Latinos, young people, suburban voters, and independents to show up for him again. John Paul Mejia, the 20-year-old spokesman for the Progressive Sunrise Movement, says Biden has simply not done enough to ensure that young voters who rallied behind him in 2020 would continue to do so. Young people are starving for more. Mejia said, pointing to Biden's recent decision to approve 2 controversial fossil fuel projects in Alaska, Biden has to demonstrate the extent to which he's willing to be a fighter. We've seen the sort of 2-step on the promise he made to young people. Biden has also struggled to fulfill key promises to black voters, perhaps the most loyal group in his political base, while he tapped. I love that. Can you, the language that political people use? They don't use the word pick. No. Not pick, not choose. Tapped. Who comes up with this shit? We're a bunch of senators. Who came up with this? And let's not use the word pick or choose or select. No, we're going to use the word tap. Hey, did you hear? Joe Biden tapped Ketanji Brown Jackson to be in the Supreme Court. Did you hear? Did anyone hear? I heard that Joseph Robinette tapped someone. What? Again, I'm sorry for that sidebar, but just also, I love the idea. These people that are writing articles at the Associated Press are so fucking stupid that they think that, Joe Biden getting a fucking black woman on the Supreme Court is somehow, going to make black people at large happy. Is it good? Sure. Yeah, we haven't had a black woman, I should say, on the Supreme Court. So, is it good? Sure, right? I'm not saying it's bad, but it's does that really help anybody, let alone any black person in the United States? I mean, does it help them maybe in a theoretical glass ceiling? Oh boy, everybody, right? But I don't know. What about literally anything else? I'm talking you can go down to a city and pick up some cans on the side of the road. That would do better to help out the black community than a Supreme Court pick. I'm just saying, what we're all thinking here. He has been unable to follow through on pledges to protect voting rights against a wave of Republican-backed restrictions. Here's another thing that for whatever reason, to me, this sticks out as the most important arc when it comes to Joe Biden with the black community, is he went to Georgia, which, by the way, he won Georgia in the 2020 election. He went to Georgia and other heavily black states and said, we know you're upset about police brutality. We're going to reform the police. We're going to fix the problem. Right? He got in. He got elected. Then before he became the president, but when he was president-elect, he got onto a call with black leaders in Georgia. And this call was leaked, by the way. This was a private call that was leaked because of Joe Biden's disgusting behavior. He was on this call and he yelled, literally, I'm not even joking, look it up. He screamed and clapped at people saying, when I say I'm going to do this, I mean what I say. Don't question me. That's what Joe Biden was saying to the black community in Georgia. And then he became president. And not only did he do nothing, right? Like, if he would have done nothing, that would still be a betrayal. He went to the right. So he promised to reform the police. He gave them 3 times the local police funding per city in this country, got triple the funding. Do you know where that goes? It doesn't go to hire more cops. They might hire 1 or 2 more cops, but they're also going to get a new coffee machine. They're going to get a golden toilet seat. They're going to buy another Humvee. They're going to get another fucking school bus to deck out with spikes and riot gear. They're not... Again, I need you people to understand that, like, we live in the Twilight Zone, okay? Right? This is some crazy ass motherfucking shit. Right? Look at this. Biden's diverse coalition of support risks fraying in 2024, right? And they start off with Joe Lieberman, like, of all fucking characters to start off with, right? But I need you to understand that this is fucking, like, these people are just, like, they're not even people, really. I mean, this is just proof we live in a simulation. Like, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, an AI could write all of this. An AI could be the, you know, producing a hologram of Joe Biden for all I know. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, Jesus goddamn fucking Christ. Like, how is it possible? I'll tell you how it's possible, because these people are fucking mutants. I'm talking about Joe Lieberman. How is it possible that right-wingers and centrists claim that Joe Biden is being controlled by the left when Joe Biden, as a matter of fact, on every issue, has not only abandoned the left position, but has moved to the right of where he campaigned? Now, again, Joe Biden is the furthest left president that we've ever had, presumably. Now, again, we can debate FDR versus Joe Biden. I don't know, man, though. It's kind of hard. Coronavirus versus Japanese internment camps. I mean, as far as, like, tragedies, as far as fascistic, genocidal tragedies with the left-wing, the so-called left-wing presidents in the U.S. history, by the way, we got Japanese internment. Okay, on one end, we got pretending that a pandemic no longer exists, which is killing millions of people. On the other end, I don't know, man. Both of those are pretty hard. By the way, furthest leftist presidents in the history of the country. That should tell you fucking something. That should fucking tell you something. That when Joe Biden goes out there and says, I'm the most progressive president in American history, yeah, that's actually not that good. If this is what we got, you know, whoa. All right. But again, it's just, it's insane. I mean, these people are fucking insane. But of course, they're paid to be insane. They don't live in the real world. They think like Joe Biden making like a wisecrack at like a buffet means he's controlled by the left or some shit. It's insane. And again, we've never had a left-wing president. Again, you can make an argument about FDR. But this whole, like, the discourse around this whole thing just really drives me up the wall. But again, this popular, everyone loves presidential discourse. That's why we start discussing the presidential race a year and a half before it even fucking happens. When is the presidential election? Does anyone know? Does anyone know when the presidential election is? It's in November, right? Oh, November of next year? Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And we're still fucking talking about it now, right? And everyone that talks about it that has any form of a platform is just fucking stupid. It's just fucking stupid, right? People like me, people like you, we don't have a platform to tell these people how fucking ridiculous they are. So we have to deal with this fucking garbage where they go like, well, Joe Lieberman says he's controlled by the left. The young people say he's controlled by the right. Oh, wow! Right? Like, I mean, Jesus goddamn Christ. But hey, whatever. I'm just having fun here. Killing some time today in this May morning. Max, get up here. Get on the couch. Come on. Look at this dog. Come on up. Come on up on the couch. Look at him. Look at him. Max, you're on the couch. Look at this dog. He's on the couch. Max, you're on the couch. You're on the couch. Look at him. Look at the couch dog. This is a fucking incredible development. Max, you are a beautiful baby. And you're a couch dog. And I love you. And you're stealing the show. Look at this shit, man. Holy fuck. Look at this goddamn fucking little couch dog. Look at this. You see this? Is anyone witnessing? Shit. Max, I love you. You're so good. Wow. So, it's the Above It All show, for May. And, just doing a show here today at Max the Dog Industries. And, we're doing a program today. The Above It All show brought to you by Max the Dog. So, Max, you want this pillow? Here, take this pillow. There you go. There you go. I don't know if you can hear it, but he's making dog noises. Yep. This is what I got to deal with. Can you imagine having to put up with this? Like, here I am trying to do a show, for Christ's sake. I'm just trying to live. Max, I'm trying to live. And then this dog is just, I can't right now. I'm stunned. I am stunned. Wow. Incredible. Incredible. I mean, I could do this all day. Max, what the hell? Alright, folks. I'm just gonna do the show like this. Okay. Let's talk about, I got this other article here. I saw this headline. I want to go into this for a moment, and this is one of the subjects that I talk about a lot on this show, and that is religion. I'm going to talk about religion for a goddamn minute here, and I say goddamn with extreme prejudice. And I'd like to also say that I do take the Lord's name in vain. In fact, I do it often. And I will probably do so momentarily. But we're going to be talking about this. Pro-Trump pastors rebuked for overt embrace of white Christian nationalism. And so this is basically what this is this is going to be, again, reputation laundering for Christianity, because Christians and Christianity cannot reckon with the fact that Christianity is fundamentally a right-wing conservative ideology. There is no such thing as progressive Christianity. There is no... Now, again, I should also stipulate, historically speaking, yes, Christianity has had progressive movements inside of them. Why? Why? Because if they didn't wrap their progressivism inside of a religious framework, they would be burned at the cross for being against God. So what they had to do was they had to create a version of Christianity that they could be able to use to convince people, don't worry, God's real, he's great, I love God, praise Jesus, all that stuff. But maybe we shouldn't have kings, right? And so, again, now, historically speaking, Christianity and all other forms of religion, by the way, Islam, for example, is, again, historically very progressive. But it's not progressive because of the religion. It's progressive despite the religion. Because again, if they were to espouse the same values of progressivism 300, 400, hell, even 100 years ago, even 50, 60 years ago, if we were to expound on our progressivism outside of religion, we would all be called Satanists, heretics, whatever. Would be burned at the stake. So historically speaking, progressive Christianity was, again, it's oxymoronic, but you can make an argument it was required. But again, we live in the era of smartphones. We live in the era of extreme science. We live in the era of these questions have been answered, right? Before, if you wanted to debunk if God is real, you'd have to go to the library and check out a book. Imagine doing that. Imagine putting in that kind of effort. No one's going to do that. Now, if you want to debunk Christianity, you just go on Google, is Christianity real? And you'll find out that it's not within seconds. Within literal seconds of having the idea to think about, is this real? You can look it up and find the fucking answer. You don't have to go to a library. You don't have to know which book to check out, etc. So again, there is no defense or excuse to being a Christian in the 21st century. If you're still a religious person, you are still in the box. You need to think outside of the box. Now, again, what articles like this are about, and I'm going to get into I'm probably going to end up being on this topic for a while here, is reputation laundering, right? Christians launder white supremacy within their ranks. Now they'll say, oh, we don't like that. We don't. But guess what? They believe in God just as much as you do. How can you say their belief in God is any worse than yours? Maybe belief in God leads people to do irrational things. Now, you can say belief in God leads people to do great things. Sure, maybe, but it definitely leads people to do bad things, right? But anyway, let's jump into this article. This is on The Guardian, by the way. A far-right religious group with ties to Donald Trump loyalist Roger Stone and retired Army Lieutenant Michael Flynn is planning events with pastors in swing state churches in Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and elsewhere, to spur more evangelical backing for the former US president's 2024 campaign. But the group Pastors for Trump is drawing sharp rebukes from mainstream Christian leaders for being extremist, distorting Christian teachings, and endangering American democracy by fueling the spread of Christian nationalism. The Tulsa, Oklahoma-based evangelical pastor and businessman Jackson Lemire leads the fledgling Pastors for Trump organization. Lemire told The Guardian it boasts over 7,000 pastors as members, and he will unveil details about its plans on the 11th May at the Trump National Doral in Miami, an event Trump will be invited to attend. Now, I just want to be very clear. I need people to understand. Religion is not a enemy of socialism, of communism, of leftism, good things, right? What does leftism equate to? We want good things for as many people as possible. Religion is not fundamentally an enemy. It is the most intense of all the enemies. It has its tentacles wrapped within even the nicest people on the planet. Still believe in God. They believe in Jesus. How is that possible? How is that possible? I don't fucking know. I really don't. But I want to take a break here for a moment, and we're going to get into, there's more in this about how other religious groups, here, let me just read this for a moment. Other religious leaders warn of dangers that Pastors for Trump poses by marrying Christian nationalism with political vitriol and election lies. For years, Trump has tried co-opting religious leaders, blah, blah, blah. Tragically, far too many pastors have confused political power with religious authority, blah, blah, blah. Now, again, if someone can say, God told me to kill someone because they're black, or God told me to kill someone because they're an immigrant, and they actually believe it, then it doesn't fucking matter what's in the fucking Bible. That's irrelevant. But I want to share with you something. Now, this is a poll from about 5 months ago. Okay, so this is relatively recent. Statistically speaking, we can assume that this is about as relevant as it would be now. About 4 in 10 U.S. adults believe humanity is living in the end times. 40% of Americans believe that we are literally in the rapture. Not 40% of Christians, I should say. 40% of Americans believe that the rapture is not coming, but it is here. We are living through it right now. So again, how is that possible? Are all of these people right-wing extremists? You might say, oh no, it is apolitical to think that the rapture is here. That's apolitical. No, it's not. If you are brainwashed into believing that the world is ending, why would you ever bother wanting to, I don't know, maybe think about it, progress our current society? If you think you're going to die and because you accept Jesus in your heart, whatever, amen, that you're going to go to fucking heaven and everything's perfect, what motivation do you have to fix the world that we live in? Okay? I really need people to understand that religion fundamentally is a conservative ideology. You cannot be a progressive Christian. Now, you can be a progressive politically and a Christian ideologically, but you cannot be a progressive Christian. There's just different levels of regressive Christians. There's extremist Christians, there's apolitical Christians, there's regular Christians, there's lazy Christians, but there's no such thing as progressive Christian, because you cannot use Christianity to enact progress, at least in the current era. Again, historically speaking, even 50 years ago, really, when I say historically speaking, I'm talking about before everyone had the internet at their disposal at any time. Now, again, we're not talking about rural fucking Wyoming where like -6 people live out in a rusty shack and they don't got a motherfucking internet connection, okay? We're not talking about those motherfuckers. If they believe in God, whatever, okay? They don't really know any better. But we're talking about the fact that most people have the internet and they still believe in God. That's fucked up shit, and that is again a recipe for fucking disaster. So let's look at this Pew Research study from December to see what people believe here. They believe we are living in end fucking times, okay? I need you to understand, how can progressive Christians do anything about the current world when they believe we're in fucking end times? Now, again, it's only 40%, right? It's only 40%, right? So the other 60%, or maybe you take the 10% out that are atheists, they're progressive Christians. They don't believe we're in end times, right? Maybe. I don't know. Let's find out. Periods of catastrophe and anxiety, such as the coronavirus pandemic, have historically led some people to anticipate the destruction of the world as we know it. The end times is near. This thinking often has a religious component that draws on sacred scripture. In Christianity, for example, these beliefs include expectations that Jesus will return to earth after or amid a time of great turmoil. So I just want to be frank with everybody. Okay? I believe we're in end times. I do. What does that mean? Does that mean Jesus is going to fuck our shit up or come save us? Whatever. No. It means the capitalists are destroying our planet, giving us all a virus that they could have easily prevented, disabling us, destroying our abilities to fight back, while they automate our lives away. You ever see these people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk talk about depopulation? How do you think they're going to do that? So I think we're in end times, but you know what this thought of mine leads me to do? It leads me to want to fix the goddamn world. But if I think, oh, we're in end times, but it's okay because Jesus is going to step on down from the clouds and go take me and my meme all to heaven. Wow! You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fucking sit on my ass and watch more Pawn fucking Stars. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. Not to say that I don't do that anyway. I've never seen Pawn Stars. That's just the first thing that came to mind. That being said, again, I need you to really understand, when a Christian believes we're in end times, that means let's tell everyone to accept Jesus and let's go get our shotgun and shoot at the tornado from our front porch. That's what it means, okay, motherfucker? It means they're gonna do nothing. It means these people are fundamentally paralyzed. They are politically paralyzed. They are unable to do fucking anything. And this is what religion leads to, okay? This is the effect of religion, all right? Again, there's no such thing as good Christians. There's good people that are Christians. That doesn't make them good Christians. Because if you're a Christian, fundamentally, what you're doing is you're in a money laundering pyramid scheme, is what you're doing, and you're convincing people to take the world that we live in less seriously, and instead to believe in a magical fairyland that's going to happen after we're all dead. So don't worry about the life we're currently living. That's just a game or whatever. The real life is later. It's all good. Don't worry. Just chill out. Go to church and praise Jesus. This is why, despite when people get upset at me, and I know there are people that get upset at me when I shit on religious people, but you know what? Living in a Christian theocracy and being in the crosshairs of this Christian theocracy, I have a different opinion, okay? I would rather people stop wasting their money and their time and their energy on debunked fucking money laundering pyramid schemes. If you're going to go and try to fucking do a pyramid scheme, do some motherfucking goddamn NFT scams, okay, motherfucker? Buy some fucking donut rolls from the donkeys down the street and go sell them door to door if you want to engage in a pyramid scheme. Don't tell people that Jesus is going to come down from the cross in the sky and save us because we're in end times. Now, again, I want to read a little bit more of this. And you can look at the numbers here, man. Wow. Okay, you can look at the numbers here. In the United States, 39% of adults say they believe we are living in the end times. Now, again, I also think we're living in the end times. But my opinion as an anti-theist, as an atheist, is an actionable opinion. It means I want to fucking fix this shit before it explodes. That means let's do our best to save the planet before there is no planet. When a Christian believes in end times, it means let me go get on down to the Lazy Boy and get my crack open a beer and go watch Jesus float on down from the sky. Maybe I'll be able to see my Meemaw again. Woo! Like, that's what Christians believing in end times leads to. Okay. Well, 58% say they do not believe we are living in end times. Christians are divided on this question, with 47% saying we are living in end times. So about half of Christians, which is opposed to 40% of Americans. So again, when you look at just Christians, 47% say we're living in end fucking times, including majorities in the historically black, 76%, and evangelical, 63%, Protestant traditions. Now, think about things that are in fucking sane, okay? The Protestant... Now, again, do Protestants know this? No, they don't, because they're fucking Protestants and therefore they're fucking stupid. Because again, if you're a Christian, chances are you don't know jack fucking shit about your own fucking religion's history. But Protestants, as a branch of Christianity, started because they kind of didn't really like the whole king thing. Does anyone remember that? This whole, kings are kind of fucking our shit up, and, maybe our version of God doesn't like kings, and your version of God is, the divine right of kings, that's their fucking thing. So, and now, all of a sudden, it's flipped, and now the Protestants are the even more insane ones in this poll, in this specific instance. Now, Catholics are also pretty fucking insane in a lot of areas. But I genuinely, and I say this with all due sincerity, I think U.S. Catholics are slightly less annoying than European Catholics and, oh God, South American Catholics, man. Now, again, I'm not saying that in a racist way. I'm saying that geographically speaking, these regions of the world take their religion a lot more seriously than the American Catholics do. So in this instance, we have a situation where historically black and evangelical populations are the most likely to believe that Jesus is going to come down from the rapture in the sky and save us because it's end times. Now again, does it feel good? Does heroin feel good? The classic Karl Marx quotation, religion is the opiate of the masses. Now, does it feel good to believe that Jesus is going to come down from the sky and save you at the last minute? Sure. If you actually believe that, it might feel good. But is that going to get you out of the situation? Is that going to fix your problem? No. So anyway, I want to go back to this article real quick. Because again, good Christians, good pastors, good whatever the fuck, all they're doing is they're trying to redeem the reputation of their money laundering scheme. This is like, we saw, a lot of Wall Street crooks get marched out in handcuffs. Just kidding, haha. But in very narrow senses, right? Look at the FTX guy, right? Now imagine a scenario where the FTX guy goes to jail, and then everyone is like, don't worry about it. FTX is great. It was just that one guy, sure, he was the head of it. He created it. He started all the problems. But don't worry. Don't worry. Right? Don't worry, everybody. Because FTX is still fine. Don't worry. Keep giving us your money, even though it's been proven to be a scam many, many times. Don't worry. That guy's bad. We say he's bad. We admit he's bad. But that doesn't mean the scam is bad. I mean, the scheme. I mean, the church. Yeah, that's right. The church. Come on down to the church. I need people to really look at religion as it is. A blatant money laundering, multi-level marketing operation. That's all it is. It is nothing more. There is nothing innate. There is nothing beyond. There is nothing spiritual about religion. I would even go as far as to say that the idea that spirituality is linked in any way with religion, to me, is honestly offensive. That is offensive. As someone that considers myself a spiritual person, the idea that spirituality is exclusive to religious thinking is absurd. That is absurd and offensive. This idea that believing that Jesus is talking to you in your sleep or whatever is as similar as meditating and realizing how one with nature you are, give me a fucking break, okay? One of them is escaping nature. One of them is getting even closer to nature, okay? So fuck you with that fucking shit, just as a little sidebar. Let's check this out. Where was I in this article? I remember I was reading it at some point. The pastor and this effort are trying to impose a Christian theocracy. It's imperative that Christian leaders of all backgrounds, including conservative ones, speak out about this effort as a threat to our democracy and the church. Really? It's a threat to the church? Now, I say this, it is a threat to the church. Because again, these guys are exposing the scam. They're exposing the scam. All right? Similarly to when the FTX guy gets walked out in handcuffs, why did that happen? Because he exposed the scam. So that's the only threat to the church. These people want the church to have more power. The guys that want the church to have more power are the real threat to the church. Why would you believe that? I don't know, man. Seems a little oxymoronic to me. But hey, again, I really need to just let people in my audience, and I know it's unpopular, I know a lot of people get triggered, whatever the fuck, but I need people to understand right now, religion, right now in our world, and especially in the United States, is one of the number one enemies of getting through this era of capitalism and on to the future. Where does corruption stem from? Corruption and the church go hand in hand. Corruption, think about it, political corruption as a concept. How old is political corruption as a concept? The Catholic Church has been exposed to be politically corrupt going back 1,000 years. Before capitalism was even really invented, the church was inventing notions of corruption. So think about it. When we talk about political corruption, where do these ideas stem from? So again, I can't with this religious shit. I can't. I'm sorry. If that offends you, then go cry me a river and go stare at the sky and wait for Jesus to come down, or whatever makes you happy. I don't fucking know. But there you go. That's my take on religion. So, next. All right, I wasn't really looking at the chat there, so. Hello, everybody joining me. We have a situation going on here. A couch dog situation. I have it almost entirely backwards. Was I thinking of Lutheran, Uncle Buck? If so, I apologize. Is that the one? Goddamn Luther. Fucked me up. I think the rest of my point still stands, though. Goddamn Copeland. Is that the one that had the fucking... that said, like, Jesus spoke to him in a dream and said, buy a jet or whatever? That motherfucker. Was that Copeland, or was that another one that said that shit on... They motherfucking go on television and say, like, Jesus told me to buy a jet. Like, I think it was Copeland. I'm not sure. Goddamn son of a bitch. All right, we're going to jump in. You know, I don't even know how to start this segment. In fact, I'm just going to put the camera at Max the dog here. There are two people on this planet Earth that we share our world with that, you know what? When they even just think about saying something on camera or anywhere in the public eye. Now, if they're saying something on the toilet or what in the shower, that's fine. But if they think, I'm going to go out on television and say this thing, just every time they even conceive of such an operation, I just get pissed off. You know? It just fucking grinds my gears. Who am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about idiot number 1 and idiot number 2. So I saw this clip floating around on Twitter of Bill Maher having Elon Musk on the show to discuss the woke mind virus and the end of civilization. Let's watch.
So I think a lot of people thought when you bought Twitter that this is kind of an outlier. Like, how does this, what doesn't fit with these other things you're doing? I never thought that. Because I think you're dealing with big civilizational issues and problems, and I was right on your page. I think Twitter is one of them. I mean, you have talked about this woke mind virus.
Yes.
Okay, literally within 10 seconds, Bill Maher says Twitter is at the apex forefront of the civilization and the course of where our civilization is going. And the woke mind virus. This is all within 10 seconds, by the way. You are very concerned with the end of civilization, as am I. By the way, Twitter is the most important thing, and the woke mind virus. What do you think is the most important thing when it comes to the end of civilization? Resources? Fighting the billionaire class? Learning to love one another again as a species? No, it's Twitter and the woke mind virus.
Really apocalyptic terms.
Yeah.
You should explain why you don't think it's hyperbole to say things like it's pushing civilization towards suicide. First of all, what is the woke mind virus? And if we don't deal with this, nothing else can get done. Tell me why you think that.
Yeah, so...
Now, I just want to say this. I consider myself to be a little bit of an opiner. I consider myself to be, some would say, a philosopher. I consider myself to be someone who thinks about the world often. And you know what I fucking hate? As all of those things? Is when people like this take all of those kind of concepts and make them look really stupid and cringy to everyone else. Elon Musk styles himself as a philosophical thought leader, probably the most important person who's ever existed. This is his mission. He said this. He literally thinks he is on a quest, not necessarily a quest from God, but a quest to save humanity. That's what he thinks. And so when he goes like this, and when he's going like this, and he's doing all these like these gestures that make it look like he's seriously just thinking about the universe, it drives me up the fucking wall, because this guy is saying the same shit Bill Gates has been saying. We need to depopulate. But why? Why would we need to depopulate? Think about it. So that billionaires can keep their cash. But depopulation, there's different ways to go about it. You can have slow and steady depopulation due to a pandemic that you refuse to even acknowledge that's real. Right? That's one way to depopulate. You could depopulate through expanding colonialism, getting rid of certain populations and nations, and just bringing regular people, as they like to call, into these locations. You know, you got to civilize it a little bit. You could depopulate by interplanetary exploration. But the point really, ultimately, behind these billionaires and their bullshit is not necessarily they want to reduce the number, like as a raw number of humans on the planet, but they want to have control over as many, percentage-wise, of the humans. The number of humans is not as important as the percentage of which they have control over. So when people like this talk about the woke mind virus, and they talk about how people, good regular people, aren't having kids anymore, and all the savages are having kids, because that's what they're gonna say. I don't know if they say it in this clip, but I've seen Elon Musk talk about it. Like, Japan's birth rates are really low, and like, you know, in the Middle East and in Africa the birth rates are really high, and that's bad because anyway, let's keep going.
I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic, and anything that...
Now, first of all, that's not a word. There is no word anti-meritocratic. That's not a word. I'm assuming what he means to say is anti-meritocratic, which means against meritocracy, which is literally... Now, again, I know it's a joke at this point, but we'll all have to live in this Twilight Zone type universe, is literally the exact opposite of what he's saying. What is... As he uses the term woke mind virus, what is he talking about? He's talking about a burgeoning consciousness in our country, a left-wing movement, if you will, of people having like an awakening about systemic and historical injustices. Now, where does that put them? Where do they go? Where do they direct that energy after they learn about this stuff? That's a different conversation. But that's what he's talking about, the woke mind virus. He's talking about people learning about the history of this country, right? If you learn that black people in this country were enslaved, they were literally property. Hell, women in this country were property as well. When you learn that, and then you realize this country did nothing at all to solve the issue, they threw the fucking key to the chains off a cliff and said, yo, get that key, and then maybe you'll be free. Other than that, you're on your own. That's essentially what this country did to an entire demographic. So when people learn about this, they rightfully go, hey, shouldn't we have some sort of, I don't know, reckoning with this historical fact? That an entire population is literally still paying for this, I'm a white person. I know you might not have known this. As with most people that are white, there are more people in white families that have homes, that have property, that have not just, you know, in the sense of like a location property, but things, valuables. White families, on average. Now again, I am poor as fuck. I've always been. But on average, white families have a history of generational wealth that is larger than black families. Most of it is in the form of land, homes, etc., but also in things like cars, things like old collectibles, antiques, lamps, all that shit. Imagine going to like a pawn shop with a fucking lamp that your grandma had, you find out it's a one of a kind, you get $800, right? So again, because guess what happened after black people were freed? If you want to use the word freed, by the way, which to me is a little bit of more of a white savior thing, but they got nothing. But wait, a bunch of black people actually managed to garner some amount of wealth and power after the slavery portion of our history. And a lot of that wealth and power was concentrated in areas like in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There was a place called, colloquially known as Black Wall Street. Black people were doing really well. What happened? Oh, a bunch of white racists from the KKK burned down every building and killed a bunch of motherfuckers. That's what happened when black people actually garnered wealth. There's a case in New York when the highway project was being started in the early-ish 20th century. How did they build those highways, especially in major metropolitan areas such as New York City? How could they find the room to build these major highways? Oh, you know what they did? They bulldozed all black neighborhoods, their houses. What they would do is they would go in under the guise of inspections, home inspections. They would destroy things without residents knowing. They would come back as government officials, say, oh, I'm sorry, your home has been condemned. You can't live here. It's too dangerous because, I don't know, someone broke an electric lining a couple months ago when they were doing an inspection. Then they would seize the property that's been condemned under clauses like eminent domain. So black people lost their houses. And this has happened at every generation where black people start to own. Now, again, I'm not saying no black person owns a house. I'm just talking about percentages here. This is dealing a devastating blow to an overwhelming percentage of the population as a whole, right? And again, what is all of this to say? That the woke mind virus is a substitute for people that know history and think, something's amiss here. So when this guy makes up words called, like, saying anti-meritocratic, he mixes America with meritocracy, which is a little bit of a giveaway on his mental thought process. And also, he doesn't really know how to pronounce words. But when he says that it's actually anti-meritocratic to want people to be on an even playing field, what he wants you to think is, I'm a fucking idiot and I love Elon Musk. That's what he wants you to think. People that want people to be on an even playing field, those are the ones that are actually against meritocracy. By the way, if you don't know what meritocracy means, it means everyone's on an even fucking playing field. So I know I'm only 40 seconds in here, but let's keep going.
That is, that results in the suppression of free speech. So
the woke mind virus is anti-Americatocratic, and it's about suppressing free speech. That's. You ever wonder, like, if you can measure, like, quantify, we're talking about get that shit and plot it on a number line? The gall of these motherfuckers that are on television. A billionaire, one of the most talked about people on the planet, who owns one of the largest social media websites, is talking about how people in his position have their free speech suppressed. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Jesus fucking Christ.
those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous.
So two aspects are suppression of free speech, which is not anything related. It's just completely adjacent in any fashion, right? And then you have anti-Americocracy, or whatever the fuck he was trying to say, which is the exact opposite of what the woke mind virus, which, again, what that means, what he means to say is people learning about how this country treated black people and other minorities. That's what the woke mind virus is. That's what he's trying to say, but obviously he's going to use different terminology. This is, again, they're just lying. Like, I need you really to understand this shit. It's just lying. It's saying the exact opposite and hoping you're dumb enough to believe them. And there's a lot of people that are. And that's the thing with these billionaires, is they know that people in this country in this time period are so fucking stupid that you can sell them anything. You can sell people anything in this country. Yeah, the people that want a meritocracy, they're actually anti-Americocratic or whatever, and they suppress free speech.
Is that it's often anti-meritocratic. You can't question things.
Did he say the same?
It's often anti-meritocratic.
He made the same. This guy can't say words. Now again, I say this. Sometimes I struggle with words. I'm a little dyslexic. When I'm reading something, it comes out wrong. Whatever, it happens. But I mean, like, come on now. Like, you can't be using a word when you didn't even practice how to say it in the mirror. And this guy is really wanting to use this word. Anti-America, like it's a buzzword, It's like a word you fucking see at like a spelling bee, right? So he wants to get that out there. And you know why else he wants to use that word? Because he knows that the average listener doesn't know what it fucking means. And especially when he stumbles, when he says anti-America, cracker barrel, right? When he struggles saying the word, people can't even really look it up if they don't even know what the fucking word means, which just allows him to get the benefit of the doubt from stupid fucking minions, right? So again, now am I saying he's struggling to pronounce the word on purpose as like a even deeper ploy? No, I think he's just bad at pronouncing words. But what, but here.
You can't question things. Even the questioning is.
Again, it's a 1984 type situation we're dealing with. You can't question things, and
bad.
Even questioning things is bad. He's saying that about the people that are questioning our history in this country of how we treated black people. So people are opening up a history book, not one they found in school, by the way, because schools covered all this up, but they're opening a real history book. They're learning, oh shit, black people were enslaved. And then after the slavery period ended, whoa, I just read the text of the 13th Amendment, and it says that slavery is banned, except for as a punishment for a crime. And then, after they banned slavery, they totally changed the criminal code. And then, they started criminalizing things that black people do. I wonder. Maybe I should ask people about this. And guess what happens? You get shit like in Florida, where you're not allowed to discuss any of it because it's critical race theory. Critical race theory. I need you really to understand these people are lying. If you don't, I know my audience typically probably understands this, but there might be passerbys here, looky-loos. When Elon Musk says anything, you have to assume it's a lie and that the opposite is true. Now again, there are exceptions that prove the rule. But this guy is claiming that black people, because that's what woke means. Woke means black people. You can't say the black mind virus, but you can say the woke mind virus. So black people going, hey, wait a minute, we got really fucked over. Maybe we should actually get something in return for once. That's the woke mind virus, which says that you can't question things, even though the people that are in the group that you're defining as woke are the ones questioning things, and they're actually the only government legislation that's suppressing free speech is actually the people that he agrees with. Elon Musk endorsed Ron DeSantis, by the way. So Ron DeSantis banning critical race theory is actually in support of free speech because he's banning discussion of black people, and black people are the ones asking questions, but also they're not allowed to ask questions, but they say they can't ask questions, but they say you can't ask questions. By the way, I'm a billionaire. By the way, I just bought Twitter, but my free speech is suppressed. Let me think about this. I'm a real true thinker. I'm a thought leader, boy. Yeah. What the fuck, bro? We're only halfway through.
Another way to almost synonymous would be cancel culture. And obviously people have tried to cancel you many times.
Many times.
Yeah, I mean,
every week.
Yeah, daughters go to college go to high school.
Cancel culture. Yo, we're gonna look back in like 10 years, and we're gonna think to ourselves, did anyone actually believe that this shit happened? Literally, all he did was make a bunch of like fucking, look at me, I'm a philosopher. Let me cross my legs. Let me do this. Let me scratch my chin. Let me rub my eyeballs. Let me scratch my armpit. Let me pick my nose. I'm anti-democratic. And then what did Bill Maher say? So true. So true. Nah, that's not what he said, but that's what he's thinking. Like Bill Maher's thinking, going like, wow, this is gold. This is gold. Yeah. Wow, this is gold. Yeah, wow. That's what Bill Maher's thinking. But let's
every week.
Yeah, daughters go to college go to high school in the Bay Area. And
again, this is another one of these like Silicon Valley, I'm way smarter than I actually am kind of gestures. Look at this one. You see this? Check this out. This is what he's doing. The one arm tuck. Right? The one arm tuck. You have to look up a lot. You notice this, by the way. Check this. You got to look up. You got to go like... Anti-America... Cancel culture.
And he was asking them, like, well, so who are the first few presidents of the United States? They could name Washington, and I said, well, what do you know about him? Well, he was a slave owner. What else?
Right. Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
Like, okay, maybe you should know more.
So, first of all, Elon Musk is just making up a story. Like, Elon Musk is like, I was watching a video or whatever, and they asked this high schooler about George Washington, and they said, what do you know about George? And he said, well, I know he owned slaves. And then, what the fuck is this? Like, is he talking about a poll? No. He's talking about, like, he watched some video clip or something. Like, what is this guy on about? And it's also like, people love to pretend like, oh, George Washington, he wasn't just a slave owner. He's the first president. As if that's like an accomplishment of like in any moral sense. Revolting against the king because you wanted to be the king? That's a moral achievement now? But again, this is like that American exceptionalism. Well, he did found the country, so therefore he's literally perfect. So, what? What?
More than that, yeah.
Yeah. That is the
and then
woke mind.
They're clapping. Yo, the audience here, man, I don't know if like the clap button turned on. Like usually at these places they have like a sign that says please clap, right? I don't know if like someone accidentally like spilled coffee and clicked the switch or whatever a little early. This is like, you ever watch like concerts or whatever, and like, you love this band or whatever, but they play a song that has like a fake out ending, and then like you can tell all the losers who aren't real fans, they start clapping, right? And then they start playing the real ending, and then they look stupid, and everyone's like laughing at the dummies that started clapping early. That's the vibe I'm getting here anyway.
Virus, exactly. Yeah.
That's the woke mind virus, is thinking George Washington's a slave owner even though he was. That's the woke mind virus.
Slavery is obviously a horrific institution, but we should still know more about George Washington than that.
And by the way,
But first of all, who's we? Second of all, he's not doing a poll. He's not doing a meta-analysis of curricula in this country. Elon Musk and Bill Maher genuinely want you to believe that the only mention of George Washington in the history books of this country is that he owned slaves and nothing else. That's what he wants you to believe. If you go to any school in the U.S. and open any history book and look at any glossary or index or whatever list of presidents, if you go on any of those pages, you will see George Washington, notable facts, owned slaves and nothing else. That's what he wants you to believe. Why? Because you're a fucking idiot. and you're dumb enough to buy what he's selling.
That was practiced all over the world forever, since the beginning of time, by every race, including people of color.
Now, they cut this here. I'm sure that there's more gold in this interview. I'm not going to watch it. I'm just watching a clip that I saw on Twitter. But, like, I mean, wow. I mean, you can probably do a meta-analysis to find the dumbest motherfuckers that have ever been on television. And, like, wow. I mean, I would like to see a tie break from these fellows. Let's just put it that way. You know, when you really think about using, when you look at history, it's like black people own slaves too. And it's like, you know, a black person had like a slave, and so that means it's okay when Washington had a slave, because like a black person had a slave too at some point. Now, did that black person who was Washington's slave have slaves? No, it's just another black person. Which, by the way, I love that move here. That it's like some random black person 500 years ago may have had a slave. Therefore, it's the same thing when we put you in a cage. What? But anyway, and that's the woke mind virus, is like, you know, people learn that George Washington had slaves, and that's actually the woke mind virus is to learn that George Washington had slaves is suppressing free speech, because black people also had slaves, and the woke mind virus, and follow me on Twitter, and anti-America to correct the. I'm gonna listen to that part again.
I mean, you have talked about explain why you don't think. First of all, what is the woke mind virus, and tell me why.
I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic.
I love that he mixes up meritocracy with America. Like, that to me, that's some real like freedom loving shit right there. That to me is hilarious. But again, these people are dumb. They're ridiculous. And if you even for a second, I need you to really grasp this. If even for a second you listened to any of this and thought, well, maybe they got a good point, it's over for you. You got to turn back now before it's too late. This is like when you go to the doctor for a routine exam and they find out that you've got a very early stage of cancer. I need you to really take this seriously. And I'm not joking when I say this, by the way. If you listen to something Elon Musk says and for an even fraction of a second think, maybe he's got a good point. Now is the time. Now is the time. You just walked into the doctor's office and you got told you don't have diabetes, but you're pre-diabetic. If you continue eating ketchup every day, you're going to get diabetes. You're going to be disabled for life. Now is the time to turn it back before it's too late. Again, even if you had the wherewithal to not actually fall for their stupid shit, if even for a second you actually thought, maybe they have something interesting to say. And again, you need to do is you got to start reading books now. I'm telling you this. Start on Wikipedia, and it's not a perfect fucking source of information, but start somewhere. Start learning history. Start learning about power. Start learning about hegemony. Start learning about corruption. Start following actual philosophers, thinkers, reading historical figures, because this ain't it. And if you're on this trajectory, you are dumber than dog shit. And again, hey, feel free to stay asleep if you want, but fuck. Anyway, so there's the Elon Musk and Bill Maher interview. I'm sure there's more gold in there, but I'm not going to do the work. Anyway, that's the show today. Everybody, thank you for watching my program today. I appreciate when people watch my show. And I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I'll be here on Tuesday. I rearranged my room recently to facilitate this exact situation. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of this exact situation right here. So if that's good news, then that's good news. I got a little Max dog here. But anyway, if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, I advise to you to open up a notes folder or file, write them down, and serve them up to me tomorrow. There you go. I'm out of here. I may be streaming on Twitch later, doing some speed runs. For those of you that play Doom or want to play my games just because you like my political program, I made a hot new Doom Megawad. Play it, even if you've never played Doom before. Do it for me. Think about it. Think about this, okay? Think about this. I need you to... This is for all the non-Doomers. You never even played a game before. Okay. What other political YouTube person do you follow that makes video games? Think about it. Think about it. Name a single other one that you follow. Can't do it. Can't do it. You can't do it. You just can't do it. So do me this kindness. Play my goddamn games. And I got this fucking pen in my hair. And get your fucking notes, you know, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, it's time for this. It's time for this. Check it out.